Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If it's your very first time seeing my face, my name is Juliet Ojiako, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please click on the bell like button. The subscribe button there to subscribe to my channel, and also the bell like button so you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. All right, so in this video I'll basically be talking about how to prepare your IELTS exam in 1 month. Yes, it's doable, and in this video I'm going to show you how. So I have like a pad here just so I will get my speech will be a little bit coordinated. All right, so this technique I'm going to talk about, if you have written IELTS before, this will come very handy for you. And if you have not, you might need to put in a lot of time for you to achieve this in 1 month. All right, so let's get right into it. So there are different types of tests in IELTS. There are 4 types of tests. We have the speaking test, the reading test, the speaking test, the listening, reading, and writing. I actually mentioned this based on their level of difficulty in my own perspective anyways. So in speaking test, this is more like an interview section with the examiner. He or she might be asking you questions and you have to provide answers. There is no right and wrong when it comes to speaking test. You just have to answer questions. Even if you don't know anything about that, you just have to cook up something in your mind and talk about it. They always say that people that go when it comes to speaking tests are people that know how to tell stories. Just know how to lie, forge things, and say. So there are 4 things that they evaluate when it comes to speaking tests. They evaluate you based on your fluency and coherence. This is the ability for you to talk and learn to express yourself very well in English. They also ascertain your lexical resources. This is basically your vocabulary. You want to use the right vocabulary when you're speaking. There are differences between the vocabulary that you use when you're writing and the one that you use when you are speaking. So you should be able to differentiate between those two and use the right one when you are speaking. So we also have grammatical range and accuracy. This is basically the ability for you to use different types of sentence structures like complex sentences, compound sentences, knowing how to be able to incorporate it when you are talking and being able to speak accurately. You don't want to be missing your tenses up in this point. So they are actually checking out for those things as well. Then the last one is the pronunciation. Of course, you have to pronounce your words very well. That is why it is very important on doing your speaking test. Try as much as possible to speak slowly when you are talking to the examiner. That way your words will come out very clear and you have enough time to like say the right things, if that makes sense. So my tip here is like I said, speak slowly and try as much as possible to talk as much as you can. Let them be the one to cut you short. That is my tip. All right, so for the speaking test, I'm going to be putting some websites on the screen. They are basically YouTube channel. You can go and watch their videos. You see what a sample looks like and try to incorporate speaking in English in your daily activities. I won't really section it for a different, let's say in 1 week, do speaking test. No, I think it's something you should do every day. The more you do it, the better you get at it. Moving over to the second one, we have the listening. All I have to say about listening is that practice makes perfect. In listening, you're basically multitasking. You're listening to a recording, you are reading the questions and you're writing the answers. So you're doing 3 things in one, and there is no way to get better at it than constant practice. You have to practice this. If you don't practice your listening, and I would really say that you should try and practice your listening at least 3 recordings in a day throughout that 30 days or throughout the 1 month. That will give you like up to about 90 recordings before your exam. So in your listening, my tip here is basically when you are listening, they always have like some few minutes before they play the recording. Before they play the recording, what you have to do is to go through your question. They'll even say it in your recording, go through your questions before you listen to the recording. If you're doing papered base, you have enough time, because after the recording they will also give you some time to write your answers. But at this point, if you're doing paper based, you don't need to write your answers, because at the end of the exam they're going to give you 10 meaning to transfer your answers to your answer sheet. So this is the time for you to go and be reading your question before they start playing the recording. You have no control of the recording, so you have to use every time wisely. So what I do is that whenever I'm reading my question, I actually target like the keywords in each question. This is that when you're reading question, for example, they say Chike, where did Chike went to on Sunday? The question doesn't always come like this, but it's more like something like this. Where the Chike went on Sunday, you already know that there is the keywords there that Chike went somewhere. And the day Chike went somewhere, it was on Sunday. Because you don't have so much time to start analyzing that, what I do is that I'll circle went, because it means that Chike actually, they are going to be talking about Chike in this recording, and he actually went somewhere. So I'm going to underline went, and also I'm going to underline Sunday, because some of these recordings will not come straight forward. They won't tell you Chike went to McDonald's on Sunday. They will tell you maybe Chike went to McDonald's on Monday, and then the next day or the previous day he went to on Sunday he went to maybe Walmart or something. So it won't just come direct. So you just have to circle the keywords in the sentence, so that if you're listening to the recording, you know that you are targeting to hear a certain word, and those words will definitely repeat. Something like Sunday, they would definitely mention it in the recording. So you have to pick it up and know where Chike went on Sunday. So what I do as I'm reading the question, I'm underlining or circling those keywords, so that as I'm listening to the recording, I'm actually looking at those keywords and waiting to hear it. Once I hear it, I will get the answer from there. And another thing, if you miss any answer when you're listening to the recording, don't just stay there and start thinking if you can remember it. Just move on to the next question. That way you don't get flustered or start mistaking things, or because the recording will not repeat itself. Once you miss it, you've missed it. You can't stay there and kill yourself. So that is it. I'm also going to put in like a YouTube channel on the screen that you can go and practice your listening. Like I said, practice makes perfect. If you start the first few ones, it might not be so good, but trust me, as you progress it gets better. All right. Moving over to this third one is the reading. Reading, academic reading and general reading are different. General reading tests are much more simpler than academic reading. But in academic, I'm just going to be, you can use both. You can use what I'm going to talk to you guys about for both sections, depending on whichever one you're doing. So when it comes to reading tests, there are basically three comprehensions, or basically three comprehensions, especially for academic reading, and they're quite bulky. My tip is that don't try and start reading the comprehension. It's not going to do you any good. Even if you're a fast reader, it's a waste of time, because after reading the comprehension and you go to the questions, you will totally be lost. You have to go back again, back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. And then you end up wasting a lot of time, and you won't have enough time to finish your reading. All right. Also, the first section of the reading, like the first paragraph or the first comprehension, is more simpler than the last one. So don't go and start from the back and start reading. Please don't do that. Start from the front, from the first one, and read and answer the question till you get to the back one. Don't start at the back. Don't start at the back. I don't know how people do that. Start from the first one and then you read down. Also, you should know that, like I said, you don't need to read the whole paragraph. You don't need to read the whole comprehension. So my tip here is basically understanding the question types. There are about 8 to 12 question types that they ask in reading text, about 8 to 12. So I'm just going to be putting a link here because I don't really want to dive into it so much. I'm going to put in a link here. IELTS by Liv, that's the website. If you go there, she actually broke down reading tests. If you understand the different question type and know how to extract the answers for each question type, trust me, your reading test will be nothing less than 7, band 7. I'm telling you for real. So like I said, understand the question type. If it's a multi-choice, if it's a fill in the gap, if it's a whatever, maybe subheading, give heading to different sections. There are ways you can actually go into the paragraph, extract the answer, and bring it back. You don't need to read the whole paragraph. So if you go through our website, read um, read read about the reading test and the different question types and how you go about extracting your answers from the paragraph. Trust me, your reading will be a walkover. But also know that you have to practice. You have to practice. It's not just knowing the mechanism of action or knowing how to extract the answer. You have to put this into practice for you to get better at it. Yeah. So moving on to the last one, but not the least, the writing. I consider this the hardest part. It's quite subjective. Well, to me, I feel like it's the hardest part because there is no right and wrong. It all depends on you and the examiner, what you wrote and what the examiner think of your writing. So there are four things they evaluate when it comes to writing. It's the task response, which is basically the ability of you to answer the question, the coherence and cohesion, like how you structure your essay, the connecting words and everything. You have to make it to you have to make your essay easy to read and it should be able to flow, you know, logically. Then the lexical resources, that is the vocabulary, the grammatical range and accuracy, is what I mentioned in speaking. The ability to use different types of sentence type and use the right tenses for your sentences, if that makes sense. So all I have to say in writing is that practice makes perfect. And I'm going to be listing some links on the screen and also in the description box where you can go and check out these people's website. They actually talked about the different types of essay you are likely going to see and how you can structure it, you know, section by section. They actually piece. In fact, if you watch their video, you will know how to write your essay. Basically, the only thing is that you might not have anybody that will review your essay to know how well, to do some corrections. That's something I did not have during my own time and it affected me. So if you have somebody that is good in English, when I mean good in English, it's not about speaking English. It's about somebody that is maybe your literature teacher or your English teacher in school that that understand English very well. Let the person go through your work and give you some correction. And trust me, like I said, practice makes perfect. So I'm going more like suggesting how you should structure your reading throughout the 1 month. So I would advise you do your speaking test daily. Like don't even skip it. That's the way you get better at it. It's more like talking to your colleagues or talking to somebody. Do your speaking test every day. Your listening test, you can actually dedicate you can do it every day of the month. Trust me, if you do it every day of the month, even if you're doing one listening test every day, you will still do well in your exam. So for your reading, I would say okay, take out 2 weeks straight and do your reading test. This is my own opinion. Like this is what I feel like you should do, but it's still left for you on your ability to comprehend fast and know how to structure it. But I've actually explained what you need to, you know, do or what you should look out for when you are writing these things or when you are reading any particular one. It's now left for you to now construct your timetable. But I would advise your speaking and listening, do it every day. That's the way you get better. Your reading, you can actually do this in 1 week or 2 weeks if you dedicate up to 6 hours doing those things. Then your writing, you can actually do this in the remaining part of your 2 weeks. You can actually focus on your writing, try and write as much essay as possible and give it to someone that you know that is vast in English to review it and give you corrections. Okay, oh my god, this video is so long now. I'm so sorry about that. So I'm going to be sharing my result on the screen. The first academic exam that I wrote, I think I have it here, but I'm still going to share it on the screen. The first academic test that I wrote, my listening was 8.0, my reading was 6.5, my writing was 6.0, my speaking was 7.5. This is actually a good result, but that was not my target. So I went ahead to write another one. And before I wrote that other one, I've actually gone through that IELTS by Liz, get the mechanism I'm sorry I'm using mechanism, get the right way to, figure out the answers to different question types. Immediately I understood this and practice. My IELTS, my result went from 6.5 reading to 8.0. So you can do it as well. And also my writing too. So I'm going to be putting all the different websites that I use to prepare in the description box. So please take your time to go through it. All right. So that brings me to the end of this video. Honestly, I hope you guys were able to get what I'm trying to say and be able to construct your own timetable based on what I've said. So you don't need to start reading. Yeah, you already know what you should look out for. And trust me, if you do all these things that I said, there's no way you get anything less than 6.0 in each section. I'm just giving you guys, like, that's the benchmark. But if you want to do more or higher than that, you have to put in a lot of work to that. All right, so if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share to your friends that is Prepare IELTS, and I'll see you guys in my next video. I love you all. Stay safe.